Good afternoon, everybody. It's Stephen Hodson and Paula Flaherty from WinExtra bringing you another daily brief of Microsoft headlines for September 24th. I think this is putting us at episode 17. We're getting up there, Paul.
Yeah, it's 17 rather quick days. It's rather interesting to think that, this time next week we will have surpassed the number of shows we've done on WinExtra on Windows, because we're only doing them once a week.
Yeah. But anyway, it looks like we got a full plate. Most of it seems to be a lot to center around rumors that we've heard over the past week. The top of the one, apparently, is the fact that, Windows Phone 7 will have the ability to tether or won't. We don't know.
Yeah, well, look, this all started last week when Brandon Watson was on Twit. And about an hour, we talked about him being on Twit earlier this week. And about an hour into the show, he mentioned that tethering will be coming to Windows Phone 7. And a lot of people seem to think that meant it would be available on launch. But it's not going to be available on launch. It'll come a little bit further down the line. But you know what, folks? Don't get your hopes too excited about it, because we've seen tethering on other devices. It's supposed to be on the iPhone. We've seen it been crippled by carriers on Android. So, tethering is something which will only apply for small computers.
That's the one thing that's been clear throughout this whole rumor, is that this has got nothing to, Microsoft could put it in there, no problem. But the fact is,
they can't control the carriers.
No, this is all based on what carriers want to do or not want to do, and that's where the real problems lie, not with the providers like Microsoft or iPhone or Android. It's all carriers. They're having their little snippets on it.
As we've discussed many, many times, Android, which is a great operating system, has, the vast majority of people aren't even on 2.2 yet because the carriers crippled it. Yeah. For a free open source operating system that everybody should freely have been able to upgrade to, and they can't, and half the features are crippled. So, welcome to the carrier world.
Yeah.
Other rumors coming out this week. Now, this is one that we discussed last night when I was guest hosting on Braindead TechCast, is the possibility that Nokia could launch a range of Windows Phone 7 smartphones alongside their Symbian smartphones.
Yeah. I proposed two different things. One was that we would see Nokia smartphones carrying the Windows Phone 7, mainly because Stephen Elop is now the CEO of, or will very shortly be the CEO of Nokia. And we know Stephen Elop from Microsoft days. He was one of the four main presidents of the different divisions.
He was
business product.
Business division president.
Yeah. But he was one of the main power people of the company. Now he's over at Nokia, so automatically there seems to be this thought that, hey, maybe we're going to see a marriage of the two companies.
Well, there's two reasons why this might work. Now, last night I completely poo-pooed the idea of Microsoft buying Nokia, but in terms of Nokia actually launching a couple of handsets, it might help Nokia break into the US market, which they have failed to do so far.
Yeah.
It would give them some teeth. But it would also give Microsoft another carrier for outside of the US. But not a carrier, but another handset manufacturer. And to be honest, there's a reason why Nokia has 43% of the handset market.
Well, the other thing, too, is it would also give Nokia a good entry into the US market, which they are dying to do. They're
dying to do it. And Windows Phone 7 could give them the teeth to finally do that.
Yeah.
Now, more sort of rumors. Yesterday, we were going back and forth about the stupidity that that IE9 would not be on, would only come with Windows Service Pack 1 for Windows 7. And that's been changed again.
Yes.
Now, let's get this straight. It's being purported as being changed.
Yes.
Okay?
We don't know.
You're saying Microsoft reverses course.
Yeah.
But considering that when they initially announced IE9 beta, and we were told it's going to be on Vista, it runs on Vista, it kind of scatters the whole idea of Microsoft changing course. I really do think this is just a mix-up in the documentation. But what is interesting is that it purports as to why IE9 is not coming back to XP, it's because Microsoft has made changes to how Direct2D works and the Media Foundation APIs. So these changes they can make to Vista and 7 with a few patches.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you have Service Pack 1 installed, when you go to put on IE9, your machine won't have to restart. But because of these changes, if you're prior Service Pack 1, you will need to restart. So you know what? IE9 coming to Vista, Windows 7, that's it. End of rumor. It's good night.
I think it was more of a handy way to get a couple news cycles for some of the bigger blogs. They saw the chance for a hot headline and they went with it. And
because as we said yesterday, it just didn't make any common sense whatsoever. It had to be a documentation mix-up, and that documentation has been fixed as of today.
Now, another interesting thing that's Microsoft has come out and said that Bluray is on the way out. Now,
and they're kind of right and they're kind of wrong.
Yeah, well, Microsoft is, this goes back to the early days of the Xbox when Microsoft was a big proponent of the HD DVD format.
Yeah. And you know what?
Yeah.
In many senses, Microsoft lost out in that case. Blu-ray went to PS3, etc. But by staying HD, they managed to keep the price of the Xbox down.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, I know a lot of people who have Blu-ray players, etc., etc., etc. But the vast majority of people I know have these things, but they're sitting there gathering dust because they're consuming all their media digitally.
Yeah.
Where Blu-ray will not die out is for the people who want, when they buy a video that's a film that's in 1080p.
Yeah.
Because when you download high definition, off your Netflix or whatever, you're not getting true high def because the bandwidth that's needed is just too much.
Just enormous.
Yeah. So in that sense, these kind of discs, they will not die out. It'll be like the CDs are still around, even though they were superseded. But the main medium is now digital distribution, except for those enthusiasts who want to physically own a copy.
And really, how many times can you watch a single movie? Like, I'm sorry, I don't get these people with these, hundreds and thousands of DVDs in their movie collection. Like, seriously? I watch a movie once. My chances of watching it again a second time are like next to nil.
Well, I suppose if a movie is particularly good, I do know people who do it. There are people who have gone and, say, for example, watched Avatar many, many times in the cinema. Not looking at you, Brian Barry. Watched Avatar many, many times in the cinema and then watched it over and over and over again at home. But the problem with these discs is they're delicate. They get scratched a whole lot. If you're anything like me, you either download your content or when you purchase content, you immediately rip it to your hard drive so it doesn't get damaged in the future. So, is it gone on the way out? Not necessarily on the way out, but being skipped over. The whole
I think that's
HD DVD wars got lost.
Yes.
In the length of time it took out, and then they got superseded by digital downloads.
Yes, and I think your point of it being skipped is actually the real thing here. It's not being ignored. It's being skipped over. It's not important. And in this case, I think Microsoft, like you said, did come out on top. They were managed to put out an inexpensive Xbox comparatively, and it hasn't hurt them not going that route. We have, it's the TechNet story, the TechNet. Apparently, at one time, or when it first started, you could if you were a TechNet member, you could have a subscription that gave you 10 license keys for products. That apparently has been cut back to 5.
That's for the Pro version and 2 for the standard version. Now, basically, what TechNet was is, as part of the TechNet, it's for developers, etc. And once you had this, it was $199 a year for a Pro subscription, or $300 if you were a professional, and $349 a year for the other way around, wasn't it? Standard was $199, Pro was $349, and basically you got You got your 10 licenses, which you could use on Windows, Office, SharePoint, CRM, etc., etc., etc.
On 10 different machines.
Exactly, but Microsoft has cut this back now to 5 and 2, depending on which machine you're getting. And the reason is piracy, okay? Because this software that you're getting access to was not for, business use.
No.
It's not supposed to be that you take them and you install them and you use them as your everyday things.
Yeah.
These were supposed to be for developers to see what's going on, to develop against, check against. So, unless you're a very big company,
you didn't need it.
Big, you know what I mean? Yeah. Why would you need more than one or two to develop against?
Yeah.
But the uproar is because they weren't just using it as that. Yeah. They were getting 10 copies of Outlook.
Yeah.
And now they can't do that anymore. And you know what? I have to side with Microsoft on this one.
I do.
Really do.
I do too. Next up is one that Paul found. It's the iPhone versus Windows Phone 7. It's a video review from PocketNow.com.
Yeah, this is brilliant. This is something that I wanted to show this specifically for 2 reasons. First off, because it's a very non-biased. They don't say which is better, which is worse. It's just a lovely side-by-side comparison of how iPhone works versus iPhone 7 and versus Windows Phone 7 and the different philosophies behind them. Mm-hmm. Whereas iPhone is application-orientated, it's app-orientated, and how Windows Phone 7 is action-orientated. Now, it's not RTM that they're using to display this, but it's a wonderful comparison. It's very unbiased. And you know what? It's exactly how people should be demonstrating this stuff because they've left their opinion out of it, and it's just
straight head on.
Here's the fact, which is a far cry from what I was given out about yesterday.
Yeah. On that note, folks, it's the end of the Friday edition of Daily Brief. Paul and I both hope you have a good weekend ahead of you. We don't. Business as usual for bloggers, I guess. But on that note, everybody, have a good weekend. We'll see you on Monday.
We'll see you on Monday, and we'll tune into us tomorrow as well for WinExtra on Windows.
Good night, everybody.
Have a good weekend.
Hey everybody, I'm Paul O'Flaherty from WinExtra.com, and if you're like me, then more than once you've been the victim of accidental data loss. Whether you were transferring pictures of your kids from your camera to your laptop, or you've been working on a document all night long for work, we've all accidentally hit that delete key and been unable to get back those precious memories and files that were lost. Well, thanks to Search and Recover from Iolo, you may be able to ensure that that never happens again. The next time you accidentally hit the delete key, Search and Recover will help you get those files back with ease. It doesn't matter where you deleted them from. Whether it was your laptop, memory card, USB stick, DVD, or email client, Search and Recover will help you get those files back in seconds. Search and Recover can even help you recover files from malfunctioning, damaged, formatted, or repartitioned drives and devices. So how can I get my hands on a copy, I hear you ask? The answer is simple. It's actually as simple as just following @IOLO_tech on Twitter. By following @IOLO_tech, you automatically enter yourself in a draw to win one of 5 licenses for Search and Recover worth $29.99 each. Winners will be announced on the show on Monday the 27th of September, so make sure you subscribe to WinExtra's YouTube channel to catch the announcement. And best of luck, folks.